Welcome to the I Want to Be Happy podcast. I would love to introduce you to our host, Vikki and Nate of the Mindset Team, who will guide you on the path to discovering your emotional intelligence and celebrate your accomplishments. Please grab yourself a warm beverage, get comfy, and join the conversation. Now, to your host, Vikki and Nate.
Hi, Vikki.
Hi, Nate. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm pretty worried. I'm a little bit nervous about a couple of things today, though.
Would you say you're anxious?
Yeah. Might that be our topic?
Would you say that you're suffering from anxiety for right this minute?
Right now, I would say I am.
I would say you are too. Yes. So we're going to talk about anxiety today.
All right. Teach me a little bit about anxiety. Where does it come from?
There are several ways, or several reasons, I should say, of why people get anxiety and why they feel anxious. One is because of fears. They have a fear of something, whether that's a fear of going outside or whether it's a fear of spiders, whatever it is, it's a fear of, okay? Another reason that people suffer from anxiety is because they don't believe they're good enough. They don't believe that they can do it, whatever it is, whether it's walking out to their front porch or whether it's riding in a balloon. People don't think they can do it. They don't think they can accomplish anything, so they get very anxious. They fear that anxiety. So there are several reasons, okay, but the crux of it, or the bottom line of things, is because just anymore they don't feel they're good enough. And it's very sad because way back several decades ago, I would say before time, but hey, that was dinosaurs.
Probably longer ago than that.
Probably. People knew that they were good at something. Whatever it was, they were good at it.
So we've learned over time to teach the value that perhaps we're not good enough, which then builds to anxiety, which then gives something else to worry about in addition to not being good enough is worrying about the anxiety itself.
Yes.
So it builds itself.
Yes. And it builds on itself.
It's a self-perpetuating thing that gets worse all by itself if gone unchecked.
Yes. Yes.
And culturally, we're not doing anything to change this.
No.
Okay.
No, we are not.
So we have right now several generations right now living with anxiety.
Yes.
And how does that show up?
Ways. Okay. People then tend to not want to go out. They want to be in their own space and not have any interaction with other people because it scares them. They're going to be told they're not good enough or they can't do something. People don't want to go back. They don't want to go to work because they're going to be told how bad they are. They don't want to do things. They don't want to interact or have relationships. So there are a lot of ways that it comes up.
So things that can go poorly cause anxiety.
Even if they go well, they can cause anxiety because the person suffering from the anxiety will eventually find the negative that's going to be bad.
Also, let's just say there's the straight positive of, say something good happens, then people will have higher expectations.
That's true.
That's a bad one right there, even though things are going well.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So let's go back a few decades ago, okay, when you had farm, okay?
All right.
So you had a farmer and he went out every morning and he planted his plants, okay? And he planted the crops and he did that. Nobody ever said to him, you did a bad job of that. Nobody. Because he went out, he planted his crops, he came back for lunch, his wife was doing other things, whatever, okay? Nobody ever said to him, oh, gee, that was bad. Let's say that he didn't get a very good crop that year. But usually it wasn't because he did nothing. It was because of weather or rain or something outside of his control. Okay? So nobody ever said to him, oh, you did a bad job, or that was bad that you didn't have a good crop this year.
So things were so simple that really the only ways he was measuring his success or failure was if he grew crops by the end of the year.
Right. And could take those crops to market.
And so realistically, the way he did them was irrelevant. He was the only one being affected. If he did a really good job, he was 10% more productive in his fields were. If he did a bad job, he was 20% less productive. But he was still the only one able to know that. So what's really to be anxious about? Because if you had a drought, there was nothing that being anxious could help with. It didn't make the drought better or worse. So it just didn't play a role back then.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly right. But now, people have then migrated into the cities.
Mm-hmm.
They've migrated into education. They've migrated into doing things differently.
Very communally. As our species evolves, we are more and more communal.
Exactly.
Which is a natural way that we are evolving, and that's okay.
Right.
But it brings with it a new set of challenges.
It does. And one of those challenges is that the breadwinner, whoever it may be, goes off to work.
Oftentimes, two breadwinners.
That's correct. But they go off to work. Now, they have to deal with others' expectations, first of all. They have to deal with their boss's expectations. They have to deal with their partner's expectations. They have to deal with their children's expectations. And when you live up to others' expectations and you can't meet them, somebody is going to say, oh, you're a bad employee, or, oh, you're a bad parent because your kids did whatever.
I remember working at a call center. It was an outsourced call center, and we would have all of these crazy metrics that were going on. And one of them you could be docked for is if your calls were on average too long. Another one you could be docked for is if you didn't have enough of a customer connection score. Another one that would be docked is if you weren't efficient enough. Another one that would be docked is, so there's a set of conflicting things. I can either be fast and efficient, or it was impossible. And no matter what, everybody was always exceeding at some expectation. Not everybody. But no matter what, even the best people were always failing at one or more expectations.
Exactly right. You said it right there. They were failing to meet that expectation. The thing is that back to the farmer, he never failed anybody's expectation. But because now all of a sudden they have a job and they failed at that expectation, then they take that personally. And that builds up the anxiety, and they don't want to do a bad job because nobody wants to do a bad job. I don't get up in the morning and go, I'm going to cook a bad meal today. It doesn't happen. Or, oh, gee, I'm going to do a bad podcast today.
I'm aiming for mediocrity. How about you?
Right. Everybody gets up and goes, okay, I'm going to do the best I can.
But then it's very confusing about what is the best.
Exactly.
By whose criteria? Your parents. Is your job that you're doing even good enough to make your parents happy?
Right.
Probably not, knowing the current way things are. Is your job the way you're doing it making your boss happy?
Right.
Are you doing too good of a job in making your coworkers unhappy?
Somebody is always going to be unhappy
No
with you.
wonder we all have anxiety.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Just describing this makes me not want to get up in the morning.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the thing is, you will never, ever, I will tell you right now, in my many years, you will never be able to please all of the people at all of the time. You just can't do it. And that causes anxiety because people don't understand that. And I will tell you that it's kind of an age thing. Because when you're in your 20s, you're trying real hard and you're going to conquer the world.
Yes.
And by your 30s, you're thinking, probably not going to conquer the world. Let me just conquer this.
I'm ready to give up.
Not quite. But then you're thinking, okay, I can still try to please everybody in my 40s and maybe my 50s. But by the time you get to your 60s and 70s and 80s, people are going, yeah, I don't care about pleasing anybody. I'm just going to, by that time,
let's save our listeners some trouble, some decades on their lives here. And let's say that by the time you're 80, these people have figured this out, have figured out something that's worth knowing.
Exactly.
So what is it, Vikki, that they have figured out that the rest of us that are not 80 yet would like to take with us and learn from somebody who's had that much life experience?
You cannot please all of the people all of the time. Therefore, you must only please you. Now I'm going to say that again because I want people to get it. They can only please themselves, but not in a selfish way.
Because, and here's something that we're taught. We are taught to not put ourselves first and to do all of the biddings of all of these other people. However, it is important to know that if you please yourself, think about this for just a moment, you will have yourself taken care of first, but think about those wonderful moments in life where you do something for somebody else, where you help somebody, you share with them a nugget of knowledge, you give them something they didn't expect.
Right.
Genuinely, inside the deepest parts of all of us, we are happier when we have more to give.
Yes. But we have to take care of ourselves first. Why do you think flying on an airplane and the nice stewardess or the steward comes out and the airbag will fall if something happens? Make sure you put yours on first and then you tend to your children. Why do you think that is?
I know the answer to this one.
Oh, you got it.
And the reason is because if you should pass out from lack of oxygen, you can't very well help anybody else.
Exactly.
And in the event that there is something going on and you are next to your child and your child should pass, or you should pass out first, your child can't help you.
No,
You must take care of yourself first. It's a dramatic example,
it is.
but the more you take care of yourself, the more you're able to take care of others. So selfishness is not even
No.
part of the thing to really worry about. We're told not to be selfish. We're told to put everybody else first. But realistically, if you work to please yourself first, you will still give to others.
Yes, you will.
So these two are completely possible. So tie that back, Vikki, if you would, to anxiety.
So if in fact you don't care, okay, if you make someone else happy, okay, and you're only making yourself happy, you're only doing your best for you, okay, then it won't matter what anybody else says. I could say to you right now, Nate, okay, because I know you, and you believe that your beard is wonderful,
Okay,
correct?
sure.
Okay, and you believe your mustache is wonderful, right?
I'm working on it.
Okay, but still, you believe that it's wonderful.
Okay.
So if I am a stranger and I come up to you and say, that's really an ugly beard. Okay, right
Okay.
there. That's going to be your response. You're going to laugh at them. And you're
Okay.
going to say, okay, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, like it or don't. Good thing you don't.
Right.
as a
I'm not
stranger,
married to
You
you.
don't look at me all the time. My wife likes it. That's the important thing.
Right. Okay. And that's the point. Because you are so solid in what you like and what you don't and who you are.
Hmm.
Okay. That then you don't have to listen to others. You don't have to hear them say, oh, you're a bad whatever. Nate, you're a bad beard grower.
Okay. And even if this were true, let's assume that in my genetic heritage, I am just not able to grow a beard. The fact would be, yeah, I am. But okay, I can
Right.
own that too. It's not something I would feel bad about.
But right there, you took the fact. Okay. You owned the fact, whatever it was.
Hmm.
Okay. The thing is with anxiety, other people make a difference.
Other people dictate your facts.
Exactly.
They put value judgments on your facts. You are too fast on the phone. You're too
Right.
slow on the phone.
Right.
You're too whatever.
You're whatever it may be. You're just too. You're not living up to their expectations.
We have been criticized for being too highly motivated.
We have been.
So these are all different things. But when we step back, the facts are I would like to take care of myself. The better care I take of myself, the more I have to give.
But also, the more that you stop listening to others, because
Mhm.
you can't please them, so stop listening to them,
Hmm.
okay? Then the less anxiety you will have, because you, at your core, will believe in you.
So it is possible to say that somebody who is suffering from anxiety is looking for their inner value externally and not finding it,
That's correct.
when the fact is, by our mere existence, we should be here. You are justified in being exactly who you are,
Yes.
and nobody else can tell you that or take that away from you.
No.
That's interesting.
And the thing is, you are as good as you choose to be.
Okay, wait, that's a big one.
I know.
Explain that one.
Okay, if I choose to get up tomorrow morning and make a bad meal.
Yeah.
Okay. And I continue to make a bad meal because I don't choose to change anything,
Hmm.
then that's my choice.
I can't wake up tomorrow and choose to be an astrophysicist.
That's true. But you can choose to be whatever it is and be best at it.
So I can wake up tomorrow and choose to the path of I would like to be a good astrophysicist
And then you have to do whatever it takes to do that.
versus what I did a moment ago, which is admitting defeat. I just can't do it. I must stink. I don't have it in me. I won't be able to, so on and so
And there
forth.
goes the anxiety train.
And already I have defeated myself out of being an astrophysicist just by all of these comments, whereas the other choice is I can own that I have no background in it.
Right.
But maybe I will figure I would like to be as good at learning it as I can be.
That's correct.
Nobody would hire me to build a rocket on day one, but why should they? That doesn't mean that for me, I can't be very good at learning it and take those next steps and just see what will happen.
Exactly.
And notice I haven't said anything about results. It's not tied
No.
to building a rocket or impressing a third party, somebody else, my parents or whatever else.
Nope.
It's just I would like to be good at learning it. That's
Yes.
really simple when you break it down that way.
But do you notice how it's a little step?
Ah, you know what? That brings us quite naturally to the Make Your Magic segment. So for our Make Your Magic today, Vikki, and then we'll get back to our topic. For our Make Your Magic segment today, what have you got for us?
Take a little step. Doesn't matter what little step it is. If you're starting to feel anxious about something, walk around your house. As you're walking around your house, okay, think about the different things in that house. If there's a plant, think about the plant. Is that plant feeling anxiety because it's raining out? Nope. Take a step. Just walk around the house and look at things and really be aware of your house and your surroundings.
What if my house is messy and that brings me anxiety?
Then clean up. Take 5 minutes and clean something.
A 5 minute. So it's a 5 minute Make Your Magic to clean something,
Exactly.
to address any one of the things.
To address, yes, to do something. Take an action. It's a 5-minute action. The place is messy and that's causing you anxiety. Take 5 minutes and clean something.
Set a 5-minute timer and do whatever you can in 5 minutes.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay. If you're anxious for some other reasons, like something at work, figure out where as you're walking around the house, try to see about where and why you're anxious for that reason or for that particular instance.
Pinpoint what your anxiety is coming. Okay.
Because it's going to come back to you're not good enough. So try to figure out from there, whose expectations are you living up to? Yours or somebody else's?
Weird. Okay. Anxiety generally is an ambiguous thing. It just is a feeling that is everywhere.
Right. But make sure that you're doing it as you walk around. Walk outside, take a walk around the block, walk to the corner. Okay. But do it as you're doing an action. Don't just sit on the couch when you're doing this because that'll cause more anxiety. You need to physically take an action.
What is the significance of a physical activity while you're thinking these things through?
Because your mind needs to do two things at once. If you're sitting on the couch and all you're thinking about is your anxiety and about how you're feeling about it, you're being aware of what's causing it, and you're really diving deep into what it is, then you'll continue to stew on it. Just like you said earlier, you'll stew on it. It'll get worse. The anxiety will get worse. You'll have to either take medication for it or whatever it is, but it will get worse. But if you're taking an action, your brain is then thinking not only about the action, but what your thoughts are putting it in. Even if it's getting out a piece of paper and coloring on the piece of paper. There are times I give people the homework to draw a house with crayons. Okay, if they feel anxious, draw a picture of a house, draw a picture of a tree. Okay.
So I'm hearing two different things. One of them is a very light form of meditation, of being preoccupied with anything other than the anxiety, which is the drawing a house or a picture. Mm-hmm. The other one is doing a physical activity while thinking about it. These seem very different.
No, because even drawing the picture is taking an action.
But it's not an action that will help with anything.
Oh, yes, it is.
How does it help?
Because it's still an action to help clarify what and whose expectations you're trying to live up to.
Because you can't help but think about it even though you're trying to draw a house, but it distracts you from the anxiety part of it, freeing you to actually get to clear thoughts. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, I'm caught up with you now.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So by drawing these things and doing these things, it will help people get to the sources of the anxiety. This is different than treating it and how to help the rest, but at least in identifying the sources and that they're external, that's useful.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about what is a life like without anxiety? Since this seems very natural, you've helped clients, hundreds of them do this to put anxiety behind them. You've seen the before and after more times than I can count. How is it different for people?
They're able to accomplish more. They're able to be actually genuinely happy from within. So they stop thinking about others' expectations or needing approval from someone. What they do is they're a lot calmer. They're a lot more satisfied. They're a lot happier in who they are and the way they are.
Can anybody live without anxiety?
Yes.
Can everybody live without anxiety?
Yes.
How is that possible?
Because the other thing is that they stop seeing themselves as failure. And once you stop seeing yourself as a failure, you accomplish great things.
So the anxiety then turns to excitement. If
Right.
you wake up in the morning knowing that you will succeed to whatever degree. So let's just say that I'm the student of astrophysics right now, and I know that I will make it through 3 pages of dense material.
Mhm.
That's an accomplishment. And if I know that I will succeed at that, and maybe somebody else could do 10 pages, that's somebody else's thing. It's
That's
not
right.
about that. That's somebody else. 10 pages is success for them. 3 pages is success for me. But if I know in the morning that I will wake up and succeed, I'm going to feel completely different
Yes.
than if I'm worried about how much I can only read 3 pages of astrophysics compared to most people who can't read any.
Right. But you will walk around different. You will have a different air of confidence. You will have a different air of knowing because you feel like that success and you know wholeheartedly with all of your being that you are a success.
Even if I'm a success at something that is not typically done, it's entirely possible that one person's success is being a roadie for a band. That's a glorious job for some people, a whole lot of work, but it could be completely glorious and fun and rewarding.
But that's just it. One man's success may be another man's failure. And the thing is that you could even be happy with your failures. That's the other thing about living without anxiety. You accept your failures. I'll tell you right now, one of my failures, and most people who know me know that number one, I cannot sing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I can barely carry a tune. I'm not even in a bag.
There is a small percentage of people who are tone deaf,
That's me.
and that's you.
I can't sing worth anything.
All right.
However, does that mean that I don't sing? Wrong.
Nope, you sing.
I do.
And it makes me happy when you sing because that means that you feel good inside and you are comfortable and happy and expressing it. And I love when you sing, even if I don't need to listen to it.
No, you don't. Nobody needs to listen to me sing.
Okay.
But I sing for the fun of it. And yes, in most people's eyes, I'm a failure as a singer.
Okay.
I will never get up in front of anybody and sing.
Okay.
Will I dance around my house and sing?
Oh,
Heck
yes, you do, and I love it.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly right. But again, that's my success, and I accept my failure in singing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay because I still have fun doing it.
And there's so many things you're amazing at.
See?
The value of you as a human being cannot be weighed on one attribute alone.
Yes.
And
But when I was younger and I was learning how to play guitar and sing and those kinds of things, because I thought that's what I wanted to do, somebody made the mistake of saying to me, God, you have a terrible voice. You have an absolute terrible voice. Why would you ever think about singing? And unfortunately, I believed them. Now, they were probably right. But now I don't care.
I also did mean it maliciously and wasn't intended to give you self-doubt.
That's true.
Which often happens as we grow up.
Right. But now I admit that I'm terrible at singing. And that's okay. But I still do it to have fun. So even though somebody sees it as a failure, I see it as a success because I still enjoy it.
And you've got no anxiety around that.
No.
It's not a big deal. And in that same regard, I can look at my success or failure at this little podcast, and we've got at this point, under 200 total listens at the time of recording. And there will be a time where we have many more than that, but there was also a time where we had many less than that. Is this a success or failure? I don't know. We're recording just a few episodes in. Maybe this is normal for the path. This is certainly good for us.
It's fun.
I'm proud of our setup. I'm proud of getting to work with you and all the lessons that went into this. So success, failure, I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
But I'm doing it for the pleasure of doing it rather than the apprehension around did we reach enough people? Can we monetize this? How are we turning this into clients? Do we have many calls to action and breaking it all down to the various different
components?
Yeah. And what's it
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Because what matters is as long as we had fun and as long as somebody listening out there, please put a comment. Please put a comment.
Yeah, if you would, let us know that we're reaching somebody. That'd be handy.
It would be nice. It would be nice. But the things that even if you put a comment that says, "Oh, I hated your voice."
I hope nobody listens to them ever again.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Okay.
It's okay. Because we're still going to do it. We're still having fun.
We're still learning.
We are.
So.
And that's it. Exactly.
I think that's a wrap, Vikki.
Oh.
We're already there.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
That was fun.
It was. I'm a lot less worried about it than I was when we started.
Oh, good. Good. No more anxiety over this one, huh?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, good.
If you are somebody that suffers from anxiety and in a more serious way, an acute way, and many people do, and it can be crippling, reach out. We've got a lot of experience with that.
We do.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. I hope you learned something. I know I did.
Make it magical.
Make it magical. See you next time.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the I Want to Be Happy podcast. We can't wait for the next time. But until then, please feel free to reach out to Vikki and Nate to keep the conversation going. Remember to visit our website at themindsetteam.com to sign up for our newsletter. Have a magical day.